Hello, everyone. My name is James, and I am a co-founder of PANASEA, where we grow sea cucumbers, and we process them into high-value products. We are the first sea cucumber hatchery at a commercial scale in all of the Americas, and we are the first hatchery to be working with the incredibly productive species called Holothuria mexicana. So here's the problem. Massive demand, primarily coming from China and Southeast Asia, has led to dangerous levels of overfishing of sea cucumbers in fisheries throughout the world. Now, I say dangerous levels because, as I assume many people in the room already know, sea cucumbers are a vital cornerstone to the health of nearshore ecosystems. So we need more of these guys in the water. So here's what we're doing right now about it. We are currently capable of producing about 2 million juvenile sea cucumbers every month, right here in our hatchery on the Caribbean coast of Panama. We believe we can get those numbers closer to about 10 million sea cucumbers a month by the third quarter of next year. So we're already doing it, and it's growing. We are also in talks with a number of potential partners and governments throughout the Caribbean basin, where we're looking to expand our production base. I want to highlight here the first important breakthrough that we've made. We have cracked the code on working with Holothuria mexicana, which is a species that we can spawn year-round and sometimes multiple times per month, and we're already achieving double-digit survival rates. So sea cucumbers on their own as a minimally processed food product are already very high value. They go for, our species goes for about $250 per dried kilogram. However, they also contain a number of very high-value components that can be refined. However, you will notice that there's not many of these products currently available on the market, and the reason for that is the lack of raw supply, and also inefficient refinement techniques. So, as I've told you, we are already creating our own supply, a great deal of our own supply. But we also have more efficient refinement techniques than previously thought possible. So we are tackling this supply issue on two fronts. We are creating our own supply to work from, and we are also getting more out of each individual sea cucumber than previously thought possible. So as you may be able to tell, Panacea is the synthesis of two mature and distinct teams that have come together to form something stronger. The team up top knows how to create millions of sea cucumbers and one day hundreds of millions of sea cucumbers if we continue to grow as we already are. And the team on the bottom there knows how to get more out of each individual sea cucumber. And underlying all of this is an abiding dedication to put more of these animals back into the water where they belong. We are here in Portugal now, hoping to find distribution partners and buyers for our components for the cosmetic market and for nutraceuticals. We are also hoping to find research partners and funding to help us take the very promising early medical studies and translate that into pharmaceutical products down the line. Thank you for your time. Look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. If you're already producing the raw material better than anybody else, why do you want to worry about things like developing a pharmaceutical product? You know, isn't that spreading yourselves too thin and getting to things that might not be your?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. This has been, we have been very focused on making sure that we have the bottom line, and we know that we have as a fallback the ability to sell the minimally processed foodstuff. It's a very comfortable position to be in. However, we have been thinking about these products for a while because that gap in value is pretty significant. We got a very friendly investor who came on and gave us enough money to feel comfortable wading into these new territories. Plus, that allowed us to bring on the other team, Pacific Bioculture, that was on the previous slide, that already comes with the knowledge of how to produce these products. So that is a knowledge base that has merged with us. We've been funded for it. And the other thing is that while it's very attractive to have the minimally processed food stuff, it takes about 18 months for grow out, which isn't bad for this type of business. But we can actually produce some of these byproducts with these techniques in as little as 3 to 6 months. So it cuts down that production time, which is too attractive for us to pass up. So we've brought on the expertise to know how to do it and not be spread thin, got the funding for it, and it also turns out it could be a better and easier processing than previously for the, call it, simpler product.
So as far as I understood, you can grow the sea cucumbers in 3 to 6 months to produce what you want to for pharmaceutical industry.
Sorry, that was for the 3 to 6 months. That is for some of the cosmetic products and nutraceuticals, which also have a nice value to it. For the pharmaceutical industry, we believe we can get them from younger sea cucumbers than the full grow out as well. We think that that's the case, but we haven't really proceeded. We know how to extract it from adult sea cucumbers, but we aren't. We believe that we can get it from younger sea cucumbers, but we're not entirely certain yet. And that pharmaceutical research is still sort of down the road for us, and we may bring that up to the front if we can find the funding, just because it's so exciting. We're talking about the fight against cancer, so that might be something that we bring up a little bit closer to the front, but it is a more complicated process.
Okay, just 2 questions. How do you plan to scale worldwide, or if you don't plan to scale worldwide? And secondly, what makes you think that Portugal is the best place to deliver this type of product and to partner with the nutraceutical industry and so on?
So if we scale just within the Caribbean basin, we are talking about hundreds of millions, if not potentially billions, of sea cucumbers, because it's such a massive area and it's already been so overfished, and this is a great species to be working with. That's if we only ever focus on Holothurium mexicana. However, we believe that sea cucumbers in general, if we figure out how to breed them correctly, since we have, they have such a value and such a high margin that we think that it can unlock a lot of the more exciting plans for IMTA, for multi-trophic aquaculture. Because if you have this one species that has an 80% margin attached to it, a lot of the other lower margin species can use that same infrastructure and start to make them make more sense. And they work well with things like sea urchins, seaweeds, things along those lines. So we would like to expand that globally once we get to that point. So there are ideas for global expansion. For Portugal, yes, it's been clear to us that through our time here over the last week, that the network and the will and the funding behind sea-based solutions is really there. And if we're going to really try to understand something as much of a moonshot, I guess you could call it, not quite, but as creating an anti-cancer drug, we know that there is that type of a pipeline here where we can find the funding and the expertise and the help to get something like that created. Thank you, Joel.